So the biggest bull run in crypto has begun, and in the next few months, many tokens could surge 10x to even 100x or more during this cycle. This means if you invest even just $1,000 into the right altcoin and you happen to hit on a 100x, that would become over $100,000, and for most people, resulting in generational life-changing wealth. So I believe this current bull market is the beginning to a new era, and if you're tired of worrying about money or you want to finally get out of the lower or even middle class, then this here could be one of your best shots. The time to act is now, and I don't think there's much time left, and if you want to have the best advantage possible in the market, you're going to want to pay close attention to this video here. Now, at the time of filming this video, Bitcoin has just recently broke that all-time high. Since then, Bitcoin has taken a bit of a correction, a bit of a crash, but by the time this video is up, Bitcoin could be well above even $70,000. Now, this cycle so far is also unlike any other cycles in the past, and things are moving very, very quick. With that said, it's still not too late, but you also need to realize that the window of opportunity is not going to be here much longer. So to get straight into it, in this video, I'll be breaking down first why Bitcoin pumped as much as it did. Remember, in order for us to capitalize on what's happening, we need to know why things are happening the way it is. Next, I'll share with you how you can take full advantage of the market now as we enter what I call the accumulation phase, leading into one of the craziest altcoin seasons that I think we'll ever see. From there, I'll go over my exact reasons why I think the bull market is still on. And not only that, I'll share with you then how you can use all those reasons to help you make even more money in this upcoming cycle. From there, I'm going to be going over some of my top crypto altcoin picks that can have a 10x, 20x, or even possibly 100x, depending on how far this bull run goes. The way I structured that section is I'll start by going over some of the largest crypto narratives and some of the ones that you may not have heard of. Remember, when it comes to crypto, even if a project is perfect, say it's the best one in the world, if the narrative does not line up and people do not know about it, then that project could simply just never even take off. Now look, there are a lot of narratives that are popping off, but I guarantee most of you have not heard about this one narrative that I've been doing heavy research on over the past few weeks. If it feels like all this gaming and AI stuff is taking off and you are late to the pack, I believe this is something that you guys can get in early on even still. So not only am I going to go over some of my altcoin gems, but I'm also going to share with you how you can find projects that can also do a 10 to 100x using some of the same research tools that I use that has allowed me to find projects that have literally done a 2 to even a 10x over the past few days. Towards the end of the video, I'll also be sharing with you the most important thing out of all, which is how I plan to sell. Remember, none of the above matters if you don't know when to sell. So I'll go over all of the best tips on how you can be locking in profits during this cycle so you're not left holding the bag. Now, to conclude the video, I'll also be going over some of the final words of wisdom as told in the book of Matthew and Luke from the Christian Bible surrounding the story of the parable of the talents. My goal this bull market is simple. I want to help you guys make as much money as possible. I want to protect you from other influencers, creators that are going to dump on you. And I want to help you to get in as early as possible on some of these projects that I'm doing research on. I think transparency is so important, especially within a niche like this. So if you're ever curious about some of the cryptos that I'm holding, first of all, I mention every single buy that I do within our Discord, but I also have a link down below in the description, all the way at the bottom, that shares with you exactly all of my altcoin holdings and any kind of additional relationship that I would have with the project. One more thing, crypto is also highly risky, highly speculative, so don't ever go all in on money that you can't afford to lose. All right, so to kick things off, why did Bitcoin pump as much as it did? So most of you guys should know Bitcoin actually broke well above $67,000 just a few hours ago when I recorded this video. And what mainly drove the price of Bitcoin was simply just supply and demand. As I mentioned several times on the channel, the approval of the ETF that we had just a few months back would have massive impacts on what happened with Bitcoin moving forward in the future. So 9 spot Bitcoin ETFs have continued to set daily volume records and registered a combined $2.4 billion in trading volume. This year is huge because initially what was a buy the rumor, sell the news event has now become like gasoline to an already burning flame. Keep in mind, the last time Bitcoin broke its previous all-time high at around December of 2020, that bull run lasted for approximately 1 whole year. And look, I get it. History does not always repeat itself, but history does also tend to rhyme. And if we see anything similar, we could expect to see, from the time I filmed this video, 12 months of crypto markets continuing to gain volume and for altcoins to also go on another ridiculous surge. So in what I just explained, we are clearly able to see that demand for Bitcoin is really high. With the ETFs getting unlocked, more and more people want to buy into this asset, but there's also good news. With this demand, we're still nowhere near the peak of where it was in the past. Even according to Google Trends, Bitcoin right now is at a fraction or less than half of where it was during the bull run. So that right there covers the demand, but what about the supply? Well, the current block reward for mining a new block on the Bitcoin network is 6.25 Bitcoins a day. This reward here is halved approximately every 4 years in a process that most of you guys should know by now called the halving. The most recent halving occurred in May 2020 when the block reward was reduced from 12.5 Bitcoins to 6.25 Bitcoins per block. Now, the next Bitcoin halving is in April. It's about a month away. And with this taking place, the block reward is now going to go from 6.25 Bitcoins per block to approximately 3.125 Bitcoins per block instead. If we break down that math just a little bit further, 144 blocks of Bitcoin a day get mined. That means we're going from 900 Bitcoins a day down to 450, which is massive. So the supply is shrinking, there's no doubt about that, and demand is increasing. When we want to see any kind of asset moving up in price, it really just boils down to those two factors. So far in the last 1 year, Bitcoin is now up over 177%. It looks like even earlier today, when Bitcoin hit $68,000, there were a ton of limit orders that got triggered, resulting in people selling and taking profits from the top. By the way, whenever an asset hits a new all-time high, that means every single person who has bought it is up in the green. So with that said, I believe there is a strong possibility that Bitcoin could rally from 125,000 to even $250,000 through the top and the peak of the bull market. With all that said, by definition, we have now entered something called the accumulation phase, where more people are now buying and buying Bitcoin with the goal of building up their position before the next anticipated increase in price. Now, the truth is, most new investors who know nothing about crypto are just going to buy Bitcoin and hope that even if Bitcoin doubles, that right there is going to be their jackpot. The truth is, if you want to make real money in the market, it won't be made from buying Bitcoin. From this point moving forward, I personally wouldn't even touch Bitcoin in a bull run, because if your goal is to double, triple, or even 10x your investment, you would need to look at other cryptocurrencies which have a smaller market cap of what Bitcoin has today. Right now, Bitcoin's market cap is over $1.2 trillion. So for Bitcoin to double in that price, the market cap on that would need to go up as high as $2.4 trillion. And say we just banded together all the billionaires in the world, even if they went all in, there could be some heavy resistance for us to get Bitcoin to even just double with all that extra money. Now, granted, with the ETF approval and what I call wrinkle dollars still coming in, there would need to be a lot of money in order for us to get close to the price target of over $250,000. Now, if you're completely new to the investing space and you have no idea what market cap is, it's actually very simple. Market cap is the total value of a cryptocurrency circulating supply. So to get the market cap, all you do is multiply the current price of the coin and the circulating supply, and there you go. Now, generally, the rule of thumb is the higher the market cap, the less risk there is, but there's also a lower reward. So for me personally, I like investing into small market caps. This means things under $100 million, because in my opinion, crypto itself, the very nature of this entire market, is already so risky. So just imagine I give you two scenarios. Option one, you have $100 to invest into the market. Would you rather lose that $100 and make $10,000? Or option two, if you had $100 to invest, say you lose $50 of it, but you would be able to make only $300 back. Ask yourself which one you would choose. Personally, for me, I would always go for the first option, because I would rather lose my $100 knowing it could still turn into life-changing wealth. Now, there's no shame if you're option two. Look, if you got family, you got kids, you're more conservative in the way that you invest, and you don't want to lose it all, this is where you would consider those higher market cap coins like you see on the front page of CoinMarketCap. This is also another reason why, if you happen to be buying low cap altcoins, that you invest only what you're comfortable with losing. Many times people get into crypto, they want the gains you can make from option one, but they also want the risk of option two. This here results in a new trader who buys in at the wrong time, and when it goes down, they end up selling because they're afraid of losing that money, but then the crypto ends up mooning the next day anyways. Now, there's a funny joke in the crypto markets, and that is, if you want to make $1 million in crypto, you just need to start by first putting $10 million into the market. Now, I've seen a lot of crypto whales who start out with huge, giant positions, and they're able to easily go ahead and flip that and make a profit. But if you already know me, you've been following me through even the last bull run, you'll know that I started out with a $0 portfolio as a community college kid. I built that up to multiple six figures during the 2021 cycle. And it was through that time where the bear market hit that I was accumulating Bitcoin. And when the bull run started, this is where I now swap and trade Bitcoin for other high conviction altcoin plays. Now, here's also the thing. You'll hear from others, oh man, you should be investing into the bear market. Why are you investing now? But what a lot of people don't realize is that in a bear market, nearly everything in crypto gets annihilated and nobody actually knows how long it would last for. Yes, you could have invested more into Bitcoin when it was at $16,000, but it was almost as if you're trying to catch a falling knife, hoping you don't grab the blade. So what I like to do is trade in conditions that are more favorable, like being in a bull market. You also have to realize that there are plenty of other projects right now that are getting developed and worked on that still have not even released a token yet. Yes, the best time to invest into the market was probably at the peak of when Bitcoin hit that bottom at around $16,000. But there's still an immense opportunity for you to grow, and there are still a ton of altcoins that have still yet to hit their full potential. So if you're like me and you like playing easy mode, this is the time where you want to pay attention. I say this a lot because at the core of crypto, most projects have zero inherent value. I don't want to say all, there are still some that are building well, they have good backing, they have a good position on where the market could end up, but I'd say most projects are here to make money rather than the impact they can have on the world. Even nowadays, I'm sure you guys have heard AI, it's the newest, hottest, latest narrative within this bull run, and it seems like every project right now is just throwing AI into their name, hoping that someone just puts their entire life savings into it so either the developers or early investors can go ahead and make their money. Now, I'll go into more detail a little bit later on about just how this whole industry works so that you are most protected. But if you plan to invest into the market, let me first explain to you one of the most important cycles and flows that you need to understand so that you are able to position yourself the best in this market. All right, so let me draw a few visuals out on my iPad here. First, we need to talk about your average retail investor because we're gonna need new money in this space for us to see altcoins and even the entire crypto market expand. All right, so say this is your average retail investor. A lot of the times when people get into investing, they go into stocks first. This is because stocks are a lot more easy to access. A lot more people are comfortable with it, especially knowing that these are real companies that you can encounter every single day. Within stocks, most people will buy either an index fund or top stocks like FANG. Well, it's more like Mang now, but Meta, Apple, Netflix, Google, those are some examples. Now, when an investor is able to make 10 to even 30% returns, oftentimes they get curious to invest into the next market. This next market here is going to be crypto. Now, right now, you have so many different ways to get into the crypto market. The exposure is ridiculous. You could buy Coinbase stock, you can buy those ETFs, or you can buy Bitcoin itself on apps such as Coinbase. Now, if someone goes into crypto, most likely what they'll buy first is Bitcoin. It's from this where if someone is able to see that they've made 10, 20% from Bitcoin, oftentimes it sparks this curiosity where they want to look towards some of the next altcoins in the space. So from Bitcoin, they might hear about ETH, which is the number 2 crypto. And then from ETH, they're like, oh, whoa, well, I heard Solana is a better version of ETH. Why not that? And slowly you start seeing just your average retail investor getting into some of these other coins. Oh, what about Shiba? Inu. Oh, what about some of these other mid caps? And most of the time, a lot of new investors will get around here. Very few will get into the mid caps, and even fewer will get into the low caps. What I explained to you right now is the basic flow of how money moves through crypto. From what I've seen in the many cycles I've been through now, we will see Bitcoin heating up like we have. We will then see in about a week to 2 weeks, Ethereum doing well. And then we'll start seeing all the other altcoins within the space getting fed. Now, these low caps, when they start outperforming Bitcoin significantly, we're in something called an altcoin season. In order for all of this to happen, we still need this. A lot of people don't realize that there is heavy congruence between how stocks do and how crypto will do. Luckily enough, the S&P 500 has been on a tear. It's been hitting new all-time highs, and that's where we're seeing additional confidence coming through in this market. Now, this is the flow of money. This is what we see happen pretty often, but let me cover something even more important. And this is how new investors end up actually losing money or becoming exit liquidity. So say we have one person here, they've been invested into crypto since 2019. We have another person here, they're investing into crypto since last year. And then you have your latest investor, all right? They just got into the crypto markets this year. So oftentimes when someone gets into crypto for the very first time, usually they are not profitable. They end up holding too long. They end up either buying at the highest point or selling at some of the worst times, and they just fall victim to being a new investor. So a lot of the people who made money in 2021, I'd say there was probably 10 to even 20% who were first time and they were able to be in the green. I'd say 50% or more were actually people from the last bull run in 2019. Or even before then. So the principle is this: bag holders who never sold oftentimes win in the next cycle. So what this means is 80% of the bag holders from 2021 would be the winners this year. And for all the new investors that get in this year, say maybe 10 to 20% end up winning. All right, so I'm here to break up the flow of this. The reason why this happens is because a lot of new investors, they just get way too greedy, like we've said. This happens from not diversifying enough. It happens from being over leveraged. It happens from staring at the charts too often and just letting your emotions control and dictate your every move. If your cost basis, the amount that you're starting with is $1,000, say you have 5 projects that you look at. A lot of new investors are just gonna go all in on one single coin, but I recommend spacing them out. I don't like having more than 10 coins all at once, just because with every project you buy, you wanna be on top of it. You wanna know why it's going up. You wanna know what's coming up in the roadmap. And if you're worrying about 10, 15, 20 projects every single day, that is gonna eat up the mental RAM that you have in your brain. So for me, if I was only playing around with just 5 coins, I would probably pick my number 1 and number 2 as my high conviction plays. So if I'm starting out with $1,000, so from these I would put in $500 max, so $250 each. Now, oftentimes these high conviction plays for me aren't meme coins. These are gonna be the projects that I see narratives being built around, where they can actually grow and mature as the bull run progresses. These other 3 slots, it's for the meme coin plays. It's for the things that are a bit more of the gambling side, but are the ones where it could generate you still a higher return, even compared to the higher conviction plays. So maybe I'll play 2 meme coins and I'll play a mid conviction play. These can total $500. So with that, we're at $1,000 in total, and you could divvy this up how you want. It could be $100 here, $100 here, and maybe $150 for this one. And that way you have a little bit of ammo left over. So a few indicators that I like to look at is this, an altcoin season index. As I mentioned earlier, 75% of the top 50 coins perform better than Bitcoin. As you can see here on this graph, it would mean we are in altcoin season. In a bull market, altcoin season sticks around. In a bear market, we're in a Bitcoin season. Another very beginner-friendly tool that you can look at to visualize where we are within this market cycle is looking at a Bitcoin rainbow chart. Now, keep in mind, it's just a rainbow. This isn't going to tell us the future. It could be completely inaccurate too, but it's a healthy reminder for us to visualize Bitcoin's historical price movements and be able to identify potential support and resistance levels. Even now, according to the Bitcoin rainbow chart, we are out of the accumulation phase. We just got out of the still cheap, and right now it looks like hodl before things start going into the orange, which is this a bubble? FOMO intensifying, or even things like maximum bubble territory, where at a certain point, it is gonna have to come back down. So what we can gather from the data is this: we are still very far from the top of this crypto market. Yet at the same time, we are now transitioning out of Bitcoin season, and finally the altcoin season is brewing up. This means I'm personally readying my bags. I'm seeing more opportunities within the space to be able to find these altcoins even now, which I think is still at a good discounted price, as long as you're looking at the ones that have not yet developed for you to be able to start experiencing those 2x, 3x, 4x growths. So with all that said, here are now my reasons why I think this bull market is still on. First and most important reason is that as long as the federal government continues with their interest easing cycle, we have the best position of success. Look, in being invested into the market, I've heard some of the craziest theories on why Bitcoin goes up. There are people who do astrology. There are people who matches the ocean high tides, low tides to the market conditions, just random crazy stuff. But according to hard data-backed research, the one factor that determines how the market moves is whether or not the Federal Reserve lowers those interest rates. So as of now, investors are still expecting another rate cut to begin around May or June. With the S&P 500 pumping, I believe more money is going to continue to go into crypto. And once we're in a full blown out euphoric bull market, I believe at that point, we can look back on a video like this and be like, all right, it was the bull market. It has been set. Now, by the way, a lot of people don't realize market capitalization outside of crypto. And let me tell you this, even the S&P 500, one index within the traditional finance markets, is currently sitting at over $42 trillion. I mentioned this to serve you as a reminder that with the global crypto market cap sitting at $2.33 trillion, that this is just sesame seeds compared to what the traditional markets have in terms of capital and liquidity. Fourth reason why I believe this bull run is going to hit, and it's going to hit hard, is because the narratives this time around is so much more powerful than last year. Keep in mind, last year's narratives, DeFi, NFTs, I mean, these are concepts where I feel like a lot of newer retail investors still had trouble understanding. This year, it's pretty simple. We have AI, we have improvements made to Ethereum, such as Coinbase's base network and more. We have the metaverse, which is something very visual, and we've been able to see firsthand in terms of a growing market through the price action of Nvidia and other AI stock picks. Next reason why I think this bull market is going to hit hard is because we have a ton of bad actors wiped from the space. In the previous bull cycle, we were surrounded by some of the biggest scammers and liars in the entire world who had some of the biggest influence over the entire markets. With most of them either now in prison or going to be in prison, this time around, I don't think we need to worry about exchanges melting down like we've seen. We also don't need to worry about projects who are mishandling customer funds. Now, granted, there are a ton of scams happening within crypto. People from all over the world try their hardest to make sure that they can steal your money, and they're going to make it their absolute goal and life purpose to do so. But as long as you exercise safe caution and you are aware about all of the scams that happen, you should be much better protected. Now, unfortunately, these scams are getting even more intricate. So if you ever have a wallet and you see, oh, free NFT, or you see some free unnamed crypto in there, be careful. If you go on Twitter and you see a new account and it's verified and has hundreds of thousands of followers and it looks legit and it says, oh, we're dropping this new airdrop, just connect your wallet, be careful. Right now, even in the comment section of my videos, these scammers have recruited like villages and entire clans to go ahead and pump up these fake AMX tokens, where if you look it up and you buy, it'll immediately be a rug pull. At some point, you guys might even see a fake impersonator of me reach out to you through Discord or WhatsApp or Telegram saying, hey, it's Brian, you might remember me. You should give me some money to buy a crypto. Look, I'll never say that. No influencer should ever be saying that. If they do say that, I just classify them as a scammer anyways. And this here is just another reminder for you to all be careful. Now, before I get into some of the next narratives that you need to be on the lookout for and some of the top altcoins that I see brewing up, I want to give you a full rundown of Ethereum, because even right now, with Ethereum being at $3,400, I believe that there is a strong chance that we could see it blow up in the next few weeks. Reason number one is that on March 13th, Ethereum is going to have their next big network upgrade called the Denkin update. This year is designed to reduce costs for layer 2 transactions. Even earlier today, I was looking to make a swap on Uniswap into another crypto, and the gas fees were over $80. For the fact that we still have to pay these enormous fees on Ethereum, I believe at this part of the market cycle for Ethereum to not have solved this through all the years that this is happening, it is unacceptable. Even with that said, Ethereum is still the top number 2 crypto, and most projects are looking to still constantly prioritize Ethereum as the network that they build off of. Not only that, but a lot of people forget that the Ethereum ETFs are underway. Now, the date for this is on May 23rd, which is VanEck's final deadline date to hear back from the SEC on whether or not this ETF is approved. Third reason here is that oftentimes throughout many cycles, Bitcoin and Ethereum has had heavy correlation with their price action. It wasn't until most recently where we began to see a divergence of Bitcoin far exceeding the performance of Ethereum. And the last time we saw this through the bear market or even in the first bull market rally, Ethereum always managed to catch up in the relative price action of what Bitcoin was doing. So right now, I think this is another instance. I think Ethereum could easily break its all-time high, and with Bitcoin getting its current flow of money, based on the cycle of altcoins, Ethereum is the next crypto in line to get the trickle-down effect. Now, although Ethereum is still pretty expensive to use, I love this because whenever there is an opportunity of improvement, this is where we can line up our bags to see what that next play could be, where we make money as an investor. investor. So with that said, let's go over the rest of the altcoins in the market here and my favorite and least favorite narratives that I see building up. So first is AI. We've been talking about this for many videos now, and the potential for AI in the crypto world is still immense. I believe AI is the top narrative right now so far, and it's still going to continue. So no, gaming narrative is not the best thing in the world for crypto. It's not going to be life-changing or revolutionary. BRC20s, even now, I see a huge pullback where a lot of the attention and focus is going solely into AI. So if you want to get in on a certain narrative niche, I think this is one that is going to continue to grow. Now, global AI is growing at a compound annual growth rate of nearly 40%, and AI service revenue is going to increase by over 6x in the next 5 years. Most of you should be familiar with ChatGPT, but most of you probably don't know that it was the fastest adoption consumer product ever in the history of products getting released, scaling to 100 million users in 2 months, where in contrast to some of the biggest social media platforms that we all use in our day-to-day, Facebook, it took them 1,500 days to reach the same user count. Now, there was a great article that I recently came across, so if you want to have a full read-up on how AI and crypto blend together and where the opportunity within AI actually lies for you to invest into projects that can actually grow and develop to make money, like the next NVIDIA or like the next Amazon Web Services, I'll have that link down below in the description for you to check out. Now, from doing additional research about AI and blockchain, I found that this Venn diagram here was so interesting, and that's because we can actually see how different in some capacities AI is from blockchain. As most of you should know, blockchain is decentralized, it is transparent, it's energy efficient, and it's accessible to nearly everyone. But artificial intelligence is almost the exact opposite. It's very centralized, meaning there is probably one company that is developing the AI intelligence. Oftentimes they have little transparency. It's not open source code most of the time. We don't know actually what's going on in the back end. It is very energy consumptive, where they need to get chips and they also need to get cloud infrastructure in order to supply and grow the AI space. Through that though, there are synergies that line up. So data ownership, transparency, monetization, cost cutting, competition, innovation. And this here is where we want to focus on in bringing both crypto and AI together. So here are 3 of my favorite AI projects. One of them I've mentioned actually now a few times here on this channel, and it's Arkham. I went ahead and bought Arkham at around the 60 to 70 cent range. We sent a full alert to our Discord members, so a lot of people got in early. No one was talking about this coin. Nobody was talking about this project, and they were severely undervalued. And since then, we've seen a magnificent pump. Even after my video went out, a lot of people were able to still buy within this zone here, and most people should still be very profitable with this project. Now, if you don't know what Arkham Intelligence is, they are a data-backed platform where you can find different tokens, you can analyze different wallets, you can build out your own alerts, and even make a dashboard where the tools that Arkham offers is completely for free, but it's even better than some of these different apps that I'm paying a subscription for. Now, AI was backed by Sam Altman, the same creator of OpenAI and ChatGPT. They were backed by Coinbase Ventures, Binance Labs, Peter Thiel, and even, yes, Palantir, the software. Now, where I see Arkham really fitting within the narrative is the fact that we know regulation is going to ramp up. And with Arkham being a software that helps us to discover wallet data, organize this, and link assets, I believe they can be a huge, valuable tool for even larger entities or even the government. Now, although Arkham has had a pretty solid pump, I'd say that the market cap is still relatively small compared to what we've seen with other AI plays in the space. As a disclaimer, I bought Arkham here as a retail investor. I have no private investments. I have no KOL allocations, or I don't even think they do anything like that. And just like you guys would buy it off the exchange, I did that too. So far on this trade, I'm still up over $100,000. And with Coinbase backing them, I think there's a possibility that they could hit $5 or even $10 if it gets listed on another tier 1 exchange. I see the potential of Arkham being a multi-billion-dollar market cap coin. Now, for this project, I had to use crypto.com to buy it. So if you guys do want to check out crypto.com, I also have a referral code JUNG where you can get anywhere from $25 or even $100 in free CRO when you sign up. Now, if you want to go for more of a lower risk and lower return coin, coin. I think Render here is another solid choice. Even today while I'm filming, they're pulling back to about $6.43. I would not be surprised if they're breaking $8, $9, or even $10 in the next few months. Just keep in mind, the market cap is at $2.4 billion. There's a lot of money already in it, but even in the last month since we've been mentioning it and when we bought in at around the $3 to $4 range, they've been doing well. They're still up over 45% in the last month. And I'm confident that Render could be the crypto where if we really want to link to things like the Apple VR headset or a lot of these different real world applications, they would be the go-to project for that. As an example, it costs approximately $700,000 a day for ChatGPT to run due to how energy intensive and expensive it is to run it on a lot of these other servers. What I like about Render is that it's easily accessible to most retail investors. You can buy it on a tier 1 exchange like Coinbase. And when we get even more new money coming into the markets, I believe this is another crypto that can continue to lift up. I even compare Render to be almost like the Nvidia of the crypto world. Now, the next pick I have here on my list, this is something very risky. It's under a $50 million market cap, and this is AIT Protocol. Taking a look at the charts right now, they are consolidating. They had a huge, massive run up, and I still think they have a chance of at least breaking $1. Outside of YouTube, I've been seeing the crypto Twitter goblins completely eating this project up, and right now they have burned over 14% of their total supply. And the main drawback of AIT Protocol is just the fact that if you want to buy it, you need to go ahead and use a decentralized exchange or use something like Coinbase Wallet in order to swap into it. Now, AIT Protocol is obviously going to have more risk, but when it has a smaller market cap, I believe the potential of growth is still very high. I've already 3 to 4x my money on this project, but I still think there is room to grow. Now, if you're looking for other large cap AI plays, which are more on the conservative side, definitely take a look into Graph and Injective Protocol. Graph is ranked number 44 on CoinMarketCap. On a day like today, they went down 16%. So you can see the volatility in projects like this. And it's having a pretty strong correction. But even in the last 1 month, they are still up over 73%. And for the all-time charts, they actually had hit an all-time high of over $2.29 in the previous bull run. Now, Injective is another safer play. It's ranked number 36 on CoinMarketCap. It took another bit of a dip. It's $35 at the time of me filming today. And it looks like it's getting close to the support level of around $30. With a market cap of $3 billion, I tend to avoid these larger cap tokens, but you can definitely add it to your watch list if you align with the project roadmap and if there's anything that you align with on the ecosystem. Injective is also backed by Binance, Pantera, Jump, Mark Cuban. They've been hitting some of these cryptos. We'll open up one of my favorite sites here, Drops tab, and if we go into this brand new section, investors and VCs, you can take a look at what they're buying. So Jump Trading is on here, A16Z is on here, and you could even see the private ROI or even the retail ROI of what they are getting on the different coins that they back. So Jump Crypto, they've already done a 28x for retail. Mark Cuban, the Shark Tank investor, has a private ROI of over 10x on his investment and 28x on the retail side. So if you ever need a place to start your research, take a look at what some of the smartest people in the space are doing. You can see how much they are investing into certain projects and at different stages. Whenever a project is going through a fundraising round, unless you have deep ties with a VC, oftentimes you will not be able to invest at an early stage like this. And the only time that you can get in is once they actually launch and have a token that people can buy. I also want to give you guys a heads up too. A lot of these VCs don't just buy into a project to hold on to eternity so everyone else can make money. VCs buy so that they can make money. And if VCs are doing a great job of making money, it means they need to sell and realize their positions at some point, where usually in those cases, we do see the price of those tokens dropping immensely. This is where it's so important for you to read the tokenomics of a project, where if they raised money, you know exactly how long the lockup period is for these bigger VCs. If you blindly just trade whatever some of these VC whales do, it's going to result in you at some point ending up being their own exit liquidity. Now, out of all those cryptos I mentioned, I just want to give you guys a brief watch list. These are cryptos that I do not have any positions in yet, but I'm looking at as a future potential buy. This here is going to be FET, Ocean, CGPT, Cubic, and QAI. Now, the reason why I haven't bought some of these is because I have used their website and I wasn't particularly thrilled, but I can't ignore the fact that they are lower on the market cap and they are still doing fairly well. Just keep in mind with the AI crypto bubble, things could pop, and when they pop very fast. So if you notice things are already up 300 to 400%, I definitely recommend trying to find a project that has not yet lifted up that much. At the end of the day, I want to encourage that every single one of you should be doing your own research, because more than likely, half of all these tokens in a bear market will come crashing down. Following the next narrative is something new, and it's something that is forming right now where I believe all of you watching this video have an advantage of being in very early on. This is Base. So Base is a new Ethereum layer 2 incubated by Coinbase and built on the open source OP stack. So far, Coinbase has no plans to issue a new network token. So if you're trying to type up Base on CoinMarketCap, you're not going to find it. And this is because of the SEC. With what we've seen happen with the SEC being down the throats of Ripple or XRP, it seems like Coinbase wants to stay far away from that. Now, it seems like every cycle there is that one layer 2 token that blows up. Last year, it was Solana. This year, it could be Base. The main appeal of Base is that you get the security of Ethereum, but it's going to be 10x cheaper. If you've ever been paying these ridiculous gas fees and you're sick of it, this is where I believe the opportunity opens up. Now, it's not only that, but I got really excited going into their about page. On the website of Base, they state, we've been building towards Base for the last 10 years. From the beginning, our secret master plan has been clear and consistent to create an open financial system which increases economic freedom globally by moving deliberately through these 4 phases. So one is developing the protocol. We've seen Bitcoin, Ethereum getting invented, some of the very first cryptocurrencies. After that, we saw Coinbase and different exchanges getting built up. There were some good, some bad, but the good are clear, and that's Coinbase. They're an IPO company. They have all their financials on record. They've been complying and working with the SEC, even when the SEC has been very difficult to work with in the previous years. And not only that, but through transparency and how Coinbase operates, they're continuing to scale. In their third phase, they want to build a mass market interface for digital currency apps for over 100 million people. Think about these different wallet apps: MetaMask, Rainbow, Trust Wallet, Phantom Wallet, and even Coinbase Wallet. When I go on the App Store and I look up Coinbase Wallet, they're still right now number 13 out of all the different finance apps. Now, their fourth phase, and what I believe they are building towards, which is going to have an impact of over 1 billion people, it's going to start with Base. They state here, we believe that the on-chain platform is the most important builder platform since the internet. We believe that the on-chain platform should be open source, free to use, and globally available. And we believe that in order to make it really work, we need all hands on deck working together to scale a secure, safe, and easy to use way. With that said, if you go into Coinbase's secret master plan, which is literally wrote by their CEO on September 7th of 2016, they state this: eventually Coinbase wants to build or invest in the apps of an open financial system where you can earn, borrow, invest, spend. This can include loans, venture capitalist investing, identity and reputations, credit scores, remittance, merchant processing, and more. They state Coinbase will participate in this area by buying, building, or investing in various companies. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Coinbase go ahead with some different acquisitions this year. But the most important thing is Base is still underway. Currently, there aren't many projects building on them, and I believe that is soon to change. Now, I mentioned Base does not have a crypto token, and if you align with what they're doing, you need to find a way to get exposure, and that's going to be through Arrow. Aerodrome token is going to be the central trading liquidity marketplace for Base. Think about Uniswap, PancakeSwap. You can swap into other projects and tokens that will be built off the Base network. Now, because Base is still early on, it's still more on the speculative side, and we don't actually have those good and great projects being built up yet. We haven't been seeing this take off to the moon. Either way, we were able to get into Base at around the 10-cent mark here. I made a call for it in my Discord. A lot of our members went crazy, and it's been a crazy ride up. Although in the last 7 days, Base is still up about 57%, we've seen it come down a pretty drastic amount. Right now, at the time of filming this video, I think 37 cents is still a solid support level, and I expect Aerodrome to also go on another massive run. Now, if we compare the top layer 2s, Base has a total value locked of $454 million versus Optimism, which has about $967 million, or Arbitrum, which has over $3 billion locked. If we compare Aerodrome to Velodrome, which is also what we consider to be like the sister token, if we match the all-time high of what Velodrome hit, Arrow could still perform a 3x at its current price. Now, say Base takes off, they really execute, and Base easily becomes the most popular layer 2. Well, if we go ahead and compare the market cap of, say, even PancakeSwap at its previous all-time high, we could see Aerodrome hitting even $19 or more. From this current price point, we would see a 51x, but keep in mind, there's a lot that needs to line up for a lot of this to go underway. But if you want to be early on a narrative that I see potential in, this one would be the choice. Aerodrome can be bought off Coinbase. I have a link down below for you guys to get $200 as well. At the time I was scripting this video, it was under a $50 million market cap. It has now gone up, but I could definitely see Aerodrome easily hitting a $1 billion market cap at some point within this bull run. Now, aside from Arrow, there aren't that many other projects getting built off of base. There are a ton of meme coins, but we've seen even just a few. As an example, Toshi, which has really been popping off. This coin only recently took a massive dip just because a lot of the other altcoins in the market have been going down. But at its peak, a lot of people were either 3 to 4xing their money in a very short period of time. Now, meme coins are always very risky. There's always a giant likelihood that there will be a massive crash following it, but it doesn't mean that you can't make money. Just be sure to get out early and that you don't end up getting greedy and holding your bag too long. Following the next narrative, we have GameFi. So if you guys know me, I'm personally not a huge fan of GameFi. This is because a part of me really does not believe that Activision, Epic Games, Riot Games, some of these biggest game creators would completely neglect the fact that all they need to do is just make a marketplace or add a play to earn element to some of the most successful games that exist today. Look, I've been a gamer for many years. I've been playing way too much as a kid. PS2, Tekken Tag, Ratchet and Clank, some of the OGs. And as much as I want the GameFi industry to grow, I think this particular niche is just littered with too much VC and private investors who plan to pump up this narrative and just dump on as many people as they can at the top of this bull cycle. Even with that said, it doesn't mean there aren't going to be GameFi tokens that could take off. And there are still other projects like Beam, which we've mentioned a few times on this channel, which has been doing actually pretty well too, where this is going to be more of a safer bet, where other new gaming projects, if they really want to break into the space, they would be using the infrastructure behind Beam. Now, with that said, I have come across just a few high risk, high reward gaming coins. One of them is called Root. This here is a token for Futureverse. And after doing some research, just think of Futureverse being very similar to that metaverse movie a lot of you know called Ready Player One. Now, Root is one of the few tokens where I've seen so many real world companies partnering with them. They've got backing from giants such as Coinbase Ventures, Warner Bros, Spotify, FIFA, Reebok, Alibaba, MasterCard, and more. Futureverse is also pretty crazy, where in the last 1 year, they've merged over 11 companies together. They have 30 different products and games that are expected to be released, with even more world-class partnerships to be announced. Now, Root, I think, is going to take off. At the time of me filming this video, this token has done literally nothing. It's at 71 cents today. The volume is low. The market cap is still rather low. And I do think because of all the mergers and acquisition that has happened under that Futureverse net, this is still a roll of the dice. But I believe out of all the gaming tokens and the new metaverse stuff, if anyone has the infrastructure and they have the support from a team, this would be that project. I went ahead and went through the company founders, the CEO, some of their different advisors. Even for Futureverse, I even came across the developer of the person who made Siri, that initial AI that is on everyone's iPhone. Now, the reason why I haven't bought into this project yet, and I have no affiliation with them, is because I still need to do further due diligence. And in me saying that this is on my watch list, it does not mean for you guys to go all in on completely. Now, once I complete the rest of my research, I'll probably look to put a smaller position in, but it really just depends on the tokenomics and seeing even just how long the lockup period could be on a project like this where they have so many investors. Alongside Root, there are two other projects which are very low market cap, and this is Asto, A-S-T-O, and also Silo, ticker symbol S-Y-L-O. These are another AI GameFi metaverse related token. They are under the umbrella of what we've just mentioned. They are funded by Coinbase, and the team also looks very solid. Now, Asto, in the last month, they are up about 50%. They're going through a correction right now at about 50 cents in the last 7 days. And this is just another one of the projects where right now they're also infusing AI within this whole gaming and metaverse scene. So if you think a lot of the AI stuff has taken off, this is one of those projects. The market cap is at under $30 million, where I think has huge potential in this bull run. Another gaming crypto that I recently came across was Nakamoto Games. In the last month, they're up about 61%. They have a market cap of $176 million. And I have yet played any of their games on their apps. So if you guys end up checking it out and you really enjoy it and you see potential here, definitely let me know down below in the comments. So the goal of Nakaverse is that they're trying to build the largest GameFi community, very similar to every other gaming project out here. They currently have over 800 million users, and they do focus on that play to earn ecosystem. Now, I think Nakaverse still has potential here, but do your full research before investing into any of these projects. Last but not least, we got to talk about meme coins because yes, you can make money in them, but even as an example today, look in the last 24 hours, just every meme coin going down. Now, granted, in the last 7 days, they are still up over 140%. There is opportunity to make money here. And two of the cryptos that I've literally been mentioning is Bonk and also Dog with Hat, which seem to have also taken a top position on CoinMarketCap. Now, look, these market caps are still nowhere near where Doge is right now, or even where Shiba Inu is. If I were to place another bet on any one of these projects, it would be Dog with Hat, just because the meme of the hat being on a dog, or pretty much on anything, where even now, I bought Dog with Hat way earlier on. I put a low amount of even just like 500 bucks in there. My bag is about $2,000, but I got all these random airdrops. I got Cat with Hat token. I got Bull with Hat token. And we're just seeing all these different with hat stuff. And I believe if this bull run continues to pick up, this meme coin still has that edge in having the largest viral effect in being able to put a hat on nearly anything. Another meme coin that I bought in way earlier on, we got in, I believe around the $1 to $3 mark, was here, MAGA Trump. Now, I like MAGA Trump just because if Trump gets elected this year, I think this meme coin is still going to continue to pump. And even in the last month, they are already up over 485%. But as you know, election year is still some times away. And with that said, I'd rather have a small bag in there, knowing that I have at least just less than 1% exposure in the case that it does go parabolic, like what we have seen with other meme coins such as Dogecoin or Shiba Inu. Just remember, 99% of all meme coins will go down. You're gonna feel the FOMO. That is why people buy into meme coins. And remember, if you buy into a meme coin, your goal is to make sure you sell as soon as you hit your take profit levels or whatever goal you had set. So if you say, oh, I just want to double my money here, and it doubles your money, do not wait for the 3x, the 4x, the 5x, because you're gonna keep wanting to go up. But at some point, these meme coins will come crashing down. If you do invest into any projects, reading tokenomics is very simple. Make sure you do your full due diligence in seeing the distribution of how much tokens the developers are getting and where that's actually getting allocated to. At the end of the day, yes, retail can make money with meme coins, but the people who are going to make the most amount of money are going to be the ones that actually develop the projects themselves. So that means our greatest enemies are not one another. Our greatest enemies could be the people who actually made the project. So this is where, if you're able to find the project and see that they had a very fair launch and that 40% of the supply is not within the guys who coded up the website, you'll have a much better chance of making money within that project. Now, a lot of these are going to be Ethereum based tokens, but they're going to be Solana meme coins that are popping off. They're also going to be base related tokens like Toshi, which we talked about earlier, that are going to pop off, and just random tokens here and there. There's another layer too called Blast, and we're going to be seeing a lot of different Blast meme coins going off. So just know that there is opportunity here, but please just be careful, exercising caution with those memes. All right, so with all that said, you have an idea of some of these altcoins. Well, what can you do to help improve your odds of that token or that project doing well? So for me, I have a 4-step process. It's very simple. First of all, you need to find projects, whether it's watching these YouTube videos here, whether it's going on Twitter and finding threads, or going on dropstab.com like I showed you earlier and going through a list of what the VCs are investing into. You need to have a way of aggregating a list of different cryptos to add to your initial watch list. From there, what I do is I use CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, whatever you want, and you can go ahead and create your own watch list here. If a crypto token has an available project that is listed on CoinMarketCap, you can go ahead and hit that star and add it to your own watch list. And then from there, you continue that research. So what I like to do after that is have a basic report card of questions I need to answer to ensure that the token fits the criteria of what I would buy. I was listening to a podcast recently just talking about what VCs do in order to qualify a project as something that they would work with. And in most chances, they have their own report card of what they grade certain tokens. So if a token is listed on a tier 1 exchange, I would rank them maybe a 10 out of 10 here. The next thing I usually do is look at the social media presence of a project. If they have no Twitter followers and they have a whole bunch of fake bots that are liking their accounts, or they're just retweeting a whole bunch of useless stuff, I would probably rate them something as low as 2 out of 10. It's from here you do more research. You answer these different questions, and at the end, you can see what score that the token has. Now, this is how I determine if a project is a high conviction project or a very low conviction project where I might not even invest. Now, say a project has the right narrative and they do have a good Twitter following, but everything else sucks. It's most likely I invest a very small amount or I just ignore it. In order to find success in the market, this is the level of research where I believe most of you should be doing. Now, I know if you're brand new to the space, it can be overwhelming. Tokenomics may not make any sense at all, but I know as you put in the reps and you do the work, it's going to get easier and easier over time. Now, I'll tell you this too, AI is getting so good where I wouldn't be surprised in a few months or even less, where you put it into an AI similar to ChatGPT bot and it literally fills out this grading report card for you. Now, if you want to use the same report card template that has made me and my members close to $1 million, check it out down below in the description. I will email it to you guys, all free of charge. From there, once you build out your watch list and you run through the report card on several projects, you can then decide how much you want to allocate your initial investment into based on how well they did. A lot of people think crypto is a matter of luck and it's like a matter of intuition, but I'd say there's a lot of research that you can do to control different factors to help you give the better edge in this market. Now, with all that said, we need to go over the most important part of this video, and that is exit strategy. When it comes to investing and making gains, the entry and exit strategy are both equally as important. If you get the perfect entry at the market low and you end up making a 10, 20, 30x, but you are unable to sell and you sell when the price reverses and Bitcoin goes back to the bear market bottom, you won't have anything to take home. So how do I plan my exit strategy? Well, first of all, I try to get an indicator or a feeling of when we're closing in on the market top. This means we are approaching the peak of the market because everything eventually peaks before things start going back down. As an example, earlier I showed even the App Store, and I'd like to see where Coinbase is trending on the App Store. Is Coinbase number 10 or are they number 1? If they're number 1, how long have they been holding that spot? If I see the top finance apps on the App Stores, all crypto related, we could be closing in on the top. I also like to get a gauge of in real life conversations. So anytime someone over the age of 50, 60, even 70 gets a little risky there, if they ask me about any cryptos that are not Bitcoin or Ethereum, I get pretty worried. As soon as we have people who are not generally investing into crypto entering the crypto space, they are usually the top signal for the older investors or people who have survived multiple cycles to sell their positions on them. It's when people start selling that the mass sell effect happens, and it's the people who get in at that time who end up being the bag holders. Other than that, an indicator as simple as if I'm on Instagram and I see normie friends posting about crypto constantly, I'll have an indication that the market top is closing in too. Now, what I'm doing is utilizing mechanics of social media. So even as an example, if I go on TikTok and I see people or girls talking about how they just made $2,000 from Shiba Inu, the top could be near. Once I get to feel the market in that sense, and I take a look at other indicators like the fear and greed index or even the rainbow chart, or if I see other macroeconomic conditions like inflation starting to rise up again, knowing that interest rates are probably going to go up, or if the S&P 500 had a market crash, that could also be another leading indicator that crypto could be soon to follow. So the importance here is to make sure that you're aware of everything going on even outside of crypto so that you have a broad view of what could happen. Now, my next rule of thumb is generally this. If a low cap altcoin that I got in early on does a 10x, I'm out, okay? I'm not looking for a 20, 30, 40, 50x because for cryptocurrencies to generally hit even higher numbers and multiples outside of that, it requires a lot of stars lining up. It requires the project to really be on top of it, to continue putting out good updates. It also requires the project to be viable, utility focused, something where newer investors see the future in as well. I mentioned this earlier, but I want to emphasize it again, but it's the fact that if you get a crypto, you are up a lot on it and you sell, it does not mean that there are no more opportunities. There are cryptos that are constantly launching. There are cryptos that you cannot buy yet right now, but will launch in the next 3 to 5 weeks. This is the importance of not going all in on a single crypto and to always make sure that you have ammunition ready on the sideline to be able to buy in on other opportunities that arise. So to make my exit strategy clear to follow, I look at larger indicators outside of the crypto market to get a gauge on if we're approaching the market top. If I feel like things are feeling a little toppy, the market is extra euphoric, everyone is currently making huge profits, that's when I'm going to look at a lot of the different altcoins that I have placed big bags in, and I'll start taking profits, if not just selling all of it, pouring it into a stable coin, and then from there, looking for the next project I could enter, or just holding it on until we see the market condition begin to stabilize. If you want to keep it real simple for yourself, just set a price target. If X hits Y, I am going to sell and stick to it. Another basic strategy is you can set a calendar reminder. So if you don't want to look at market tops, you want to just invest into these projects, buy in, delete the app, don't hear anything crypto related. And then when the calendar date notification pops up, like, hey, you should begin to sell Shiba Bonknu on this date, do it, don't back out, because this this is a way for you to not have any emotions in check and to really just treat your investments as if you're a robot. So with all that being said, let me share with you some words of wisdom here from the parable of the talents as told in the books of Matthew and Luke. Now, this story here is told by Jesus in the New Testament and is all about stewardship, trust, and the rewards of taking risks with the resources one is given. Now, in this parable, Jesus describes a man who goes on a journey entrusting his servants with his wealth. So here the master entrusts his servants with a measure of his wealth proportionate to each of their abilities before he leaves on his journey. Now, the parable goes on to say that two of the servants, the one given the 5 talent and the one given the 2, were the best stewards of their master's money. So what they did was they invested it in such a way that when the master returned, they handed back double of what he had initially given them. Now, the third servant, however, he wasn't as sharp. The one who received just 1 talent, the least amount, he went ahead, he dug a hole in the ground and he hid his master's money in there. Now, the servant who was fearful and negligent, he was reprimanded. He was basically called wicked, lazy, worthless, and his talent was taken and given to the one with 10 talents, and he himself was thrown out of the master's presence. Now, there's a lot of meaning through this text, but I want to especially connect it to investing in cryptocurrencies because I noticed a few lessons that immediately rose up. So the servant who got 1 talent was the most fearful, and I see even with new investors, a lot of the time who get into this market being very similar in that way. They do what the slave did. They were so fearful, they dug a hole, they hid away, they were scared to invest more money. When you're investing into crypto, you cannot operate in this mindset of fear. Otherwise, you can easily end up like the servant. Ask yourself this: do you feel like you have the least amount of people, and are you in a poverty mindset? A poverty mindset is a fixed mindset where you as an individual believe that you are powerless to change the circumstances that you're living in. Now, I grew up in a poverty mindset. I grew up in a household where it's like, we don't have money, we're not gonna get money, we can't do anything, it's very difficult, there's no way out. What I did to break those bonds and overcome that was through affirmations, prayer, constant work through journaling and mindfulness. Some of the most successful people I know within the space take losses, but they are in such a spirit of abundance, and they aren't operating within this mindset of fear where they might panic sell or they sell even way too early within the market. Now, the parable also highlights that taking risks can lead to rewards, but we also saw from how the master went ahead and diversified his positions with at least 3 of his different servants. We should also consider doing the same. So don't just buy one crypto, diversify it into different projects that you think could be the most bullish to the one that might not perform as best. In the parable, the servants are also held accountable for the actions upon the master's return. In the world of crypto, I see this being massively important. I've seen a lot of people who constantly blame others when things go wrong. So the moment you start blaming your friend for telling you about the crypto, or you blame your wife and your kids because they would just want to spend time with you, but you're just staring on your phone glued to the charts, and you blame them for the fact that they're somehow a reason your crypto didn't blow up. Just like how the servants were held accountable for what they did with the money, make sure that you hold yourself accountable to the responsible investing. From when each of us were born, as a Christian, I know this: I've been entrusted with resources of time, material wealth, things of this earth, but ultimately everything comes from God and everything belongs to Him. Now, the most common mistake I've seen many investors make is that they get into crypto and they have no idea how much money they want to make. Even after they make that money, they have no idea what they want to do next. Get clarity on that. Set aside an exact figure amount of realistically how much you want to make in the market. If you make that money, what do you want to do with it? Now, after you make that money, know what your plans are. If you want to treat yourself to that car or use it as a down payment for a house, go right ahead. But if you want to go ahead and use that money to build another business or to pay off debt or to give back to your parents, you're able to at least think further ahead of what you can do with this money, because if the money is just sitting around, it's so easy to just put it back into the space. And at some point, the bear market, when it hits, it's gonna go down. Don't get greedy, take profits, and know this: even if you sell one bag and it goes up, there are gonna be plenty more coins that will come along the way. So ladies and gents, if you've made it all the way till the end of the video, first of all, I wanna say congratulations. This was a longer episode, much longer than I anticipated. I've been here for over 2 hours, but every moment of this, I am so grateful for, because if I can help just one person out in the world, that is good. I'm chilling. Now, I do wanna mention we have our Discord membership group called Kaizen. We are completely sold out at the moment, and we've put a pause on accepting new memberships. But if you are interested in joining, all of my call outs go into the Discord group first. We have had many members making a lot of money. We've had crazy testimonials, some people making hundreds of thousands of dollars within a span of even just a few days. Now the memberships will open up soon, but if you do want to join our wait list to make sure that you do secure a spot, because the next amount of spots that we open, we are going to sell out again. There is going to be a quantity of it because we're only accepting just a handful of people so that we can fully onboard you, making sure that you're taken care of before we let every single person watching these videos in, because then there's just too many questions and too much work for me, my analysts, my coaches, and my mods. So we're just doing a small group at a time. Now within crypto, it is essential you prioritize protection. If you guys don't have a VPN yet, in order to access some of these other exchanges outside the US or wherever you live, be sure to check out Surfshark. I have a discount for 83% off and 5 months free if you use my link down below. Sign up for crypto.com and Coinbase. Those links will also give you a bonus compared to if you just signed up for them on the regular app store. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share this with a friend if you found any value, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.